Congratulations.
Thank you. First thing I got to start to say was what an unbelievable crowd. Um, I don't know what the actual numbers or where it ranked and all that kind of stuff. I do know that I have never been experienced it. I know the kids have never experienced it. On the women's side, um, experiencing a crowd that large, that loud, cheering for you. And some venues in our conference can get more people in their place, but I've never experienced them as loud, as knowledgeable, as engaged as that crowd was tonight. And I'm so proud as a coach, as a father of three daughters. So proud that my kids were able to experience that, because I'll champion for any women's cause that I can that's going to allow our kids to grow and understand that they can go out and accomplish whatever they want to, which was perfect opportunity for us to elevate her. 50 years I think it is of Title IX, that Virginia Tech is celebrating, and what a wonderful opportunity to showcase it like it was tonight. And our kids, this particular group, particularly the seniors, they've experienced, they watch the men's games, and then they'll experience their crowds, what we had a few years back. And to watch it grow the way that it's grown this year has been unbelievable. And I've said it 100 times that a crowd like that can make a good team a great team. And with that kind of backing, we can go out there and we can compete with anybody. So phenomenal, great way to send our seniors out, to my seniors that we celebrated today. They mean everything to me, to this program, to the future, where we're going. One by one, I've never experienced so much, I don't know, love during the pregame ceremony. Every time one of them walked out, it was just pure love. Not only between me and the kids, but their parents. Their parents are the ones who allowed me to coach them hard, supported me, my staff, whatever we wanted to do as far as making them into great women who are representing this program. And these kids have changed the culture. T-Sol in 1 year has been electric, been exactly what we needed. Deasia Gregg, who's been with us for 3 years, and to watch her growth for 3 years to what she has become, what she is now, it's been unbelievable. Kiana Traylor for 2 years, that's all she wanted to do was sacrifice and come and win, and she sacrificed a lot. She was an All Big Ten player. She's still a great player, but she sacrificed a lot just to try to be a part of something that's very special. And then you have my foundation, Taylor Guyman. Although she didn't play as much as she would have liked during her career, through injury and whatnot, the hug that I gave her was just as genuine as the hug that I gave Liz Kitley, who's the most decorated player in Virginia Tech history, and what she's done with this program. And then Kayla King. Kayla King is every bit as important to our success and where we've been as anybody else, and what she's done. So we'll always be indebted to these kids for what they've done to help us change the culture of our program. And they are the reason that we were able to get 6,400 people in here yelling for us and be able to beat NC State for the second time, and continue on this journey. So if I forever be indebted to them, if you ever want to know what I was saying to them in their ear, it was probably like, come on, one more year, But you know what? We're going to finish and ride this thing out and try to be the best we can be, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Just hold the frame jerseys hostage.
There you go. Well, I told him, I said, wait till the one I give you next year. It might be gold plated or something.
Start questions in the back with David.
Coach, a couple weeks ago, when you started this run of facing ranked opponents, I think Anthony asked you how big this run was going to be, what it would mean to the program for you guys to make a statement. Now that that run has come and gone, what kind of statement do you think you guys have made over these last 5 games?
We're still in the middle of it. We got Carolina on Thursday and then Georgia Tech to finish it out. But I think what I'm most proud of, obviously the results, but what I'm most proud of is their workmanlike approach to it all. They didn't look at it and they were like, oh my goodness, we've got 4 or 5 games against ranked opponents, blah, 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 blah. It was one game at a time, one game at a time. You couldn't have ultimate success unless you took care of every particular game. And very workmanlike. They came in, they're professional. We've learned how to practice here in February. During February, we haven't had a full practice. Well, we will practice a little bit on Wednesdays, but Tuesdays, I don't know where they are. Some of them are in the training room, reading books and getting treatment. Some of them are, in the weight room. But it's just like about taking care of their bodies, and they've approached every aspect of February in a very professional manner. Whether it's watching film, whether it's taking care of the bodies, whether it's film study. They've been unbelievable. The most mature group that I've had. And that's why we've been able to be successful during the stretch, just taking it one game at a time. And the beauty of it, and I've even loved the fact that I don't have to score watch. Our ultimate goal is to win and get a double bye. Position ourselves as best we can to be to win an ACC championship. And a lot of times you have to look and you got to hope and you need some help. I just tell our kids, if you just keep winning, it don't matter what everybody else does. And so that's exciting to me. But they're very workmanlike, and that's why I'm very proud of the way we've gotten through the stretch.
And a senior night related question. We've seen your team night in and night out, but when you put your graduating seniors on a line one by one, you can kind of see what you've put together. I mean, what kind of thoughts go through your mind when you kind of see that?
You know what? It's pure joy. It's the most emotional senior night that I've had since I've been here. I had a few like that when I was at James Madison, the very first group that I ever had at James Madison. I remember my first year coaching. It was my first group that I signed, and they would introduce the starting lineups, and we started 5 freshmen my first year. And the first year I've ever coached that's the only year I've never had a winning record. We were 13 and 18, and by the time they were seniors, we were one of the best teams in the CAA. And I remember that senior night and how emotional I was. I had a couple more after because I had some very special kids to me there. And when you come to a different program, and it takes a little while to build your program, and you're piecing stuff together early on, and you're seeing it. And with this group, as they kept coming out one by one, it just felt strong, and the hugs and, the conversations, the hugs with their families, the thank you from their families. And it was strong, the connection that we have. And I looked at them, and I'm so proud of them and what they've accomplished here and what they're still capable of accomplishing.
Go to David in front.
You mentioned Demo earlier. 3 threes tonight, most on your team. She's very humble. 13 points, 9 rebounds. She does it all, and you mentioned her growth, specifically defensively, what she's been able to do. It's tough because she just kind of does everything for you guys.
She's special. She's special to us because you look at her background. She started at Georgia Tech, had a really rough first year. She went to junior college, and it's so crazy because my trip down to Florida Gulf Coast to watch a different player, and I started watching Demo, and we had a situation in Trinity. Baptiste was transferring, and we upped the ante a little bit in the recruiting process of DeAsia. She got here. First day she was on campus, she tested positive for COVID, and it was it's just like this, up and down, up and down. We were looking at it as a staff, and we watched her first shot that she ever took as a Virginia Tech Hokie, and that thing came nowhere close to going in. I mean, it just ricocheted off the backboard, and she had a rough time really getting going, and to the point where we were like, we didn't know what her contributions to our program was going to be. And she just kept fighting, sticking it out. And I remember later on in that year, we had some kids leave the program, and I remember it vividly. It was a North Carolina game, and we were playing, and I just kept, and so our benches were spread out, so some of the kids were behind me, and just everything, just so totally different. And I just kept hearing her behind me bark out the scout, where everybody should go, what they should be doing. And I'm like, man, she knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And we put her in, and she was okay. She did okay. And she's gotten better every game, every year since then, to the point where she's as much important to us as anybody in our program. And the way that she plays, you can stick her in. She shoots the ball well. She knows what she's supposed to do. And when you have a veteran like that coming off the bench where you don't miss a beat, and she is humble, but she's becoming to understand her importance to this group, and that's the way she's really working. So it's been a long process with her. She has frustrated the heck out of me, but she's also given this program some joy, and I love that kid to death.
Mark.
Kenny, obviously you guys shot lights out in the second quarter. What were you seeing to explain how you were able to take control of that?
You know what? Kudos to NC State. You know, obviously they were down players, so it's probably the worst thing that could have happened to us. You know, because we spent the last 3 days, you know, getting ready for NC State. We are a team that, you know, is built on preparation, that we'll go out and we will prepare for you. We know what's going to happen and everything. And then all of a sudden, you know, 30 minutes before the game starts, okay, we had to switch everything. And they came at us, you know, and just downhill playing, you know, a lot of ball screens, one-on-one. That's not Wes Moore. What they normally do, and that's not what we're accustomed to doing. So it took us a little while to get going, and I felt like we were scoring okay in the first quarter, but we weren't defending as well. And then I thought in the second quarter we got to our spots where we wanted to get to. We were in a little bit of foul trouble. We played tentatively in the first quarter because T-Sol got a foul and Liz got a foul early, so we went to the zone, and it kind of like made us stagnant a little bit. They took the lead. But in the second quarter, we were able to get back out and play man-to-man. We got it going a little bit. And we're clicking right now. Liz is playing great. I know that there are some analysts out there who say that she's probably not the player of the year. They have a little bit of a bias towards some other programs. But she's a player of the year, and she's proven it night in, night out.
You have the second row on the left.
Coach, it's no surprise that Caitlin Amor led your team in scoring again tonight, but kind of speak to the fact of Deidre Gregg, like you talked about before, and Taylor Soule, and how their kind of production in the starting lineup has kind of led you guys on this run that you guys are on right now.
Yeah, you know, Liz is playing exceptionally well. She's getting a little bit more single coverage, not a lot. But I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that people are really trying to take away Kayla King. Kayla King gets going. She makes 2, 3, 4 threes in a game. It really makes us hard to beat. Kiana Traylor has the ability. She showed it at UVA to score in bunches. Taylor Soule is understanding what we're trying to do now. Deidre Gregg. So they really feed off of each other and play well off of each other and what the other provides for them, because Deidre Gregg can get an open look because people are looking at Liz Kitley. The way Georgia has played, she didn't shoot the ball particularly well today, but 15 and 11. You know, that's really special. So they're a dynamic duo, but it's not just them. And other kids are more than capable of having big nights, and that's what makes it so dangerous.
Go to Brooke on the right.
The defensive intensity that's just grown as the season has gone on, how does that help you guys on the other end? I know you like to say your defense helps the offense, but specifically, how have you seen that really take off?
Well, you know, we go back to media day, and I kept talking about our defense. You know, our defense is underrated. Our defense is going to be good. Now, we're not going to be first. I think we're like, top 3 or top 4 in defense points allowed. But we have more possessions. Like Duke plays a slower tempo, so you're going to have less possessions. So yeah, it's going to be in the 50s or whatnot. We play a little bit more. I think we scored 75 points today, and we felt like we didn't really play our best offensively, but we did a good job. But our defense is really good. We're smart. Our kids are smart, and they're not the greatest one-on-one defenders, but we really play good team defense, and we put you in positions and make you take tough shots, and that's what we're doing. Everyone's getting more and more comfortable. Taylor Soule is getting comfortable. Like, she had to switch everything. She had to switch everything in what she was doing at Boston College, where she's playing in the passing lanes. They pressed, they whatnot, to come here where we're more disciplined, playing in a half-court defensive setting. And it's kind of like taming some of her athleticism. And so she had to get used to that. Kiana Traylor is in her second year of this, and she's gotten better with it. And then Liz, Kayla, and Georgia, they're 3 of the smartest players I've ever had. So that's the equation for success that we've had. And they're just continuing to get better and better and get more and more comfortable. And then you got Liz in the back. You know, sometimes people will go at her, and she's such a smart defensive player that she doesn't always want to challenge somebody because she wants to live to play another play. But that's just how smart she is.
Go back to David in the front.
You mentioned Taylor. You guys switched her on to James. And
Yeah.
she did a really good job.
Yeah, she did a phenomenal job.
Her athleticism. You can't coach that. How would you describe her and the impact she can give you guys when she can use her athleticism and flexibility to kind of let you guys switch everything?
You know, the difference in us this year is that, number one, we've matured. We got a year older. But number two, you insert her into our starting lineup, and she gives us something that we've never had. that level of athleticism, the ability to switch. Like I'm like a kid in a candy store because we'll play it. Okay, Isaiah James had a tremendous game, and she was playing against smaller guards and rising over top of them. And it's like we knew we had it in our back pocket. We just didn't want to wear Taylor out. We wanted to put her on her at the right time. And then she came in, and I'm not sure that Isaiah scored on Taylor. She may have, but not a lot. And but she gives us that versatility, and the way that she plays with her energy, she gives us swag. We have a group full of introverts, and she's an extrovert, and she gives us a little bit of swag. There's times where I would never think about waving the crowd, getting the crowd hyped, and she's doing it, and I'm like, all right, well, you get them hyped, you better perform. And she's not afraid of that moment. And but she's given us an element that we desperately needed, that would give us the next level. You look at us last year, I think we got as high as 16, but we floated around with the 18 and the 20s and whatnot. And her presence has really bolstered our credibility and our versatility. So love what she's doing, and she's been a tremendous addition for us.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right.